Hey Flo, here again. I'm basically at the top now. Forgot how steep it is to get up here. So I'm going to go out on some rocks up here, find a place to sit and read and stuff. Just need to get my chat set up here. Okay, I think I'm good. And I have to pack up a few things that I had sprawled out to get my gear set up. Kind of annoying to even pack this up because I'm going to have to take it right back out as soon as I find a spot to sit, but I can't really carry it in the messy, unpacked up state very well. Oh well, it's just how it goes. I sort of had a dream of, I don't know, dream is the wrong word, but I had this desire to do like 2 weeks worth of reading today, but there's no, I don't know, I probably could, but I'm not really dead set on that. I don't think I'll do that much. I think I've done about a week's worth now, something like 5 readings or so. I don't think I'll do 5 more, probably. It's theoretically possible, but we'll see how it goes. All right, finally ready to go here, more or less. So I've been here before on stream, but I have not done any Bible readings before here, so I decided to see if there's any potential. Should be. It's fairly scenic once I get up here on the top. I could even do one like right here on the rocks, but there's a nice view up here that is worth checking out. Ooh. There's actually quite a lot of potential on this mountain that I haven't fully explored. Ooh. There's this big old, I don't know what to call it, stripe of boulders. Actually, a couple of them. This whole area is covered with boulders, and I haven't really fully explored it. Actually, I probably did. I might have done a Bible reading up here last year before. Oh, that looks cool with all that mist out there. I might have done one last year before I got like the words on the screen thing going, and I feel like I have a memory of sitting up here doing a Bible reading, but not in the modern sense. I like that mist stuff though. I wonder if I can get a closer look so you can appreciate the layering effect. It's like a Bob Ross painting. He always like draws a layer and then he like puts a white mist on the bottom of it to fade it into the others. It's just like classic Bob Ross move. And it turns out nature actually does that sometimes. Not all the time, but it's definitely a thing. So yeah, these boulders go down, and I've gone down on them a little bit, but not like all the way down. I'm kind of tempted just to explore them today, but I have like a couple things in mind, like, or I could do that, or what I originally had in mind was to come up here, do a reading or two, and then go back down and go up another mountain. So I don't know which thing I'll choose. I don't really care. I mean, I kind of like to do more hikes, obviously. It's fun to do a bunch of hikes, but if I just stay in one place and do several Bible readings, I can get more readings in that way than spending all the time driving to multiple places and stuff. I don't know. We'll see. I'll definitely do one up here, though, like probably pointing out that direction maybe, or maybe there. But and then I might explore down these boulders a little bit, and then if it's like too hard to resist, like it's way too cool, then I might go down further. There's like a red dot on my screen. I wonder if that's a new feature of this app. I don't know what it is. Oh, I wonder if it means it's recording, because I have it set up to record locally, I think. I don't ever recall seeing that red dot there, but that kind of, typically a red dot means recording, so that's probably what that means. It's probably been there all this time and I've never even noticed it. Or they updated the app to show that just recently. Anyway, so maybe I'll just sit on the top of that boulder right there on the left and just do a reading right here. But then, yeah, I might walk down these boulders and explore it a little bit, or go all the way down that way. I don't know. I think I've explored that way a tad bit, but I know almost 100% certain I've not gone all the way down the mountain on that side, and it might not even be feasible if it's too much like a drop-off cliff or something. Let's get unpacked right after just packing up. It's always my favorite. Not at all. I could probably get away with just not even pulling out my tripod and just using my gimbal, but I don't think the angle would look as good. I'd have to be down really low like this, and maybe it'd be okay, but I don't know, it's probably fine. Usually it looks better at a higher angle, but in this case it doesn't look too bad. I could probably get away with that. There'd be less stuff to haul out of my bag is the main advantage to doing that. I think I might be able to get away with that. So, trying to think if there's anything I need out of my bag. I don't think so. I wish I could always do it that way. Like, I wish the gimbal could just be a tripod in of itself. I've talked about it a million times on stream, but one of these days I'd like to get a tripod that's super lightweight but still sturdy and small, that I could just strap to like the side of my backpack so I don't have to pull it out every time. That would be really nice. But I know they make tiny compact tripods, but I don't really want a tiny one because I want it to be able to go up to like eye level if I so choose. And those monopods don't cut it. Those things are terrible. They're not sturdy at all. on this kind of rugged terrain that doesn't have any flat spots, and the wind just get blown over super easily. So monopod's not the answer. The only cool thing about monopods is that they can go up pretty high and be very compact when you collapse them, but yeah, they don't really stay upright when you're on these kind of crazy terrains. Okay, let's see what we got here. Nobody's chatting anyway, but I'm gonna turn chat off. Turn the Bible on. Okay, we're out of Proverbs for at least this reading, which I'm kind of relieved. I cannot read too many Proverbs at once. I know I say I don't ever get tired of the Bible and all that stuff, which is true, but like I can't just read all the Proverbs in one sitting. They're just too much to take in at one time. So it's kind of nice to have it broken up into at least two segments or chunks or whatever, sessions. So we're back to some of the Kings and Chronicles stuff. Probably about Solomon, I would guess. Let me take a couple pictures. Definitely want to get a picture of that misty stuff over there. I don't think I've ever sat on the actual summit rock up here behind me. I don't know if it would make a good Bible reading background, or probably not really, but it's a nice rock for sitting. Oh, and there's a lot here. I mean, there's a whole nother ridge of rocks behind me that I don't know if I've ever explored. That's kind of calling my name. This whole thing is like a bunch of rocky ridges. Quite a few different directions to go. And I may have explored some of it and just completely forgot. It's hard to remember all the different hikes that I've gone on over the years. Okay, let's see what this looks like. I think that'll work. I'm just gonna go sit on the edge of that rock. Looks like there's bird poop on the end of it, so I'll have to maybe avoid that spot. But generally, that's where I'm gonna try to sit. Kind of wish this big foundation stone wasn't here. That looks kind of weird, but oh well. Yep, it's definitely some bird's favorite spot to sit. Not only is there bird poop, but there's like a bunch of seeds that they presumably brought up here and chowed down on in their little spot. I don't know if that'll work, actually. I wonder if I could... That's the challenge of trying not to use the tripod. I probably end up spending more time just trying to get an angle with the short gimbal thing, and then I could have already had the full-size tripod set up properly. But what I'm thinking, oh, that's cool. Somebody built like a little wall over there. I know that wasn't there last time I was here. That's new. Interesting. I wonder what that's for. Looks like they're trying to build a shelter. I think I'm going to bring the camera over here and put it on this rock instead of me sitting on this rock. Because there's another rock. There's other rocks down below that I can sit on. And this is... I don't think it's going to work. I might end up having to get my tripod out anyway, but we'll see. Try to avoid it. Ouch. Yeah, see, there's some man-made little rock walls down there. I don't know what that would be for. You can't put a tent there. Oftentimes people build up little walls like that so they can provide wind cover where they're going to set their tent up, but that's like just rocks there, so you can't really do that. Maybe somebody decided they wanted to try to do a survival overnight thing and sleep up here, and so they built that just for that experiment. I don't know. Or it's just kind of their... Maybe it's like some kids in their favorite hangout spot. Who knows? I'm sure there's a story behind it. I always find that stuff fascinating. People do stuff in any time in history, you know, like just because like people built things out of stone and ruins from ancient times doesn't mean that people don't still do that, you know. And the reasons might be entirely innocuous or innocent, not like, oh, it's somebody's ancient home. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just some kids that built a cool fort, you know. I mean, in the case of the ancient stuff, it's probably actually a house, but they still had kids back then too. Kids like to do fun stuff. All right, let's see. It's not necessarily solving any problems by coming down here, but I think I see some rocks that don't have as much bird poop on them, which is kind of why I came down here first, primarily. Let's see. All right, we'll try that. I don't know about that rock in the foreground. Normally I would use the tripod and have it up higher so it kind of gets above that kind of stuff. But, it doesn't look terrible, it's just it's a little bit out of focus, I guess. This thing has a tiny extender in it. Pretty wimpy, but... yeah, it doesn't really cut it. A little bit better. I guess that's fine. Don't need to worry about that much. Okay, so I'm going to sit on that one that has the two rocks on top of it, I think. Looks like a pretty comfy UI. The nerds in the crowd will catch that reference, I guess. Certain types of nerds, anyway. Ooh. Yeah, this will work. Yeah, I sat down there. I remember that very distinctly. I was talking to a staff member at, what's that name? Non.xyz, I think. Pretty sure. That's what I remember anyway. Okay. I don't know why I remember that. It was kind of memorable for several reasons, I guess. That was a cool conversation at the time. And I remember sitting down on that rock right there, just below that built up wall area. But yeah, just to give you a sense of scale of whoever built this. It's not that big, but I guess if you had you'd have to have a really good sleeping pad to make this a sleepable area. That's why I kind of think it could just be kids that came up here and built this wall just for fun, not for any actual practical purpose. Maybe this is their hangout spot, couple kids or teenagers or whatever. Who knows? Probably look around, you could figure out some kind of evidence of some kind of activity or something. Isn't the kind that just throws their drink containers out and litters. That's nice. This is a nice little, even though it's not natural and it's not important to preserve it, I generally respect people's fun and hobbies and whatever, so I'm not going to mess this up, but this kind of looks like a cool seat, but I think if I sat there, I would lean against that and the whole thing would fall over, so I'm not going to do that. There's quite a few nice sitting rocks, really. But that one I had my eye on. This one, it looks actually quite amazing, but I think I might not really show up in the camera if I sat there. I guess I'll go to the first one. Ooh, sorry for the sniffles. It's just that cold time of year where I've never really looked up the science behind that, but like when it's cold, you get a runny nose. I always can't stand that. Like, it doesn't mean you have a cold, but when it is cold outside, you get a runny nose. It just seems like one of those laws of nature. Maybe there's certain people that are immune to that effect, but it's basically 100% of the time for me. And most everybody else I know. Okay. This is almost natural to sit. I think I'm going to go down one layer so it's a little bit more the right height for me. That's good. Then I have a little table to put stuff on. Hopefully the position of the words, I think I had it so it was kind of over here. It should be fine. Okay, so we're going to be reading 1 Kings 5 and 6, 2 Chronicles 2 and 3, and 2 Corinthians 4. Oh wow, there's another structure-related thing. There's like a big iron hook that's embedded in one of the rocks down there. Makes me wonder. I wish I would have seen what was up here. I have a lot of fascination for those like ranger towers or fire lookout towers. I don't know what the proper term is, but I really like them, and I wish they didn't get rid of them. I wish they had some conservancy, or is that the right word? Some kind of organization that maintained them after they're retired from forestry active use, so that people could enjoy them, because they're really beautiful and interesting. They make them such that they kind of blend in with nature, so they don't feel like, a blight or a scar of humanity on nature. I don't even think that way anyway, because we're also part of nature, so the things that we make aren't necessarily like garbage, like I don't buy into that nonsense. But anyway, yeah, I mean, they build them in such a way that they look really nice. And that's part of the reason I really appreciate them. They just look really cool, and I want to visit them and just be inside them. I've only been able to go inside maybe once or twice that I can remember, or even climbed up on the railing and stuff, because I don't know, I haven't gone to that many places where they are still existing, and the ones that still exist are either condemned or like closed. They have like warning tape or danger, whatever, on them, and you're not supposed to climb the stairs, or if they're still in duty. I've actually gone to 2 of them that have people, and like it was kind of during the COVID years, and they were sort of just all angry, like everybody was angry, just get away from me. During those years, it was a terrible time of human existence. But anyway, I remember going to one, and I waved at the guy like up at the top. He was up on the railing. I'm assuming he was the guy that manned the tower or did whatever. And I said, hey, and he was like, what are you doing here? It's like, I don't remember what I said in response, but it just felt like, what are you doing speaking to me like that, sir? Anyway, but then one other time, the one time I think I remember going inside, if I remember right. This might be a false memory, but I think I went inside one because my mom and I went up a butte where they had a still active one, and it seems like I know it was this nice lady that we talked to, and I have this kind of faint memory that she let us go inside, but that might not be correct. Anyway, but I really like the fire lookout tower stations, and the winter shelters, or just cabins in general that you find in a lot of national forests or other parks. I don't know, just the style that they use to build them is really, I don't know, it just makes me feel like I'm in the right place. Like this is my type of place. And honestly, if I could just live out in a place like that, I wouldn't want to be completely detached from reality or civilization. I need connections and stuff, but still, like having a place like that where you live or can retreat to, and then you just go to town whenever you need to get stuff, that'd be pretty sweet. And having having a regular property that's not out in the middle of nowhere, but maybe a few acres, and then you just build a rugged cabin like that, either a log cabin or made of stone, like some of those national forest lodges and cabins. I love those things. It's like my favorite. But I can dream, but I don't think it's not likely I'll ever have that kind of situation. I'm getting too old now. Like, had my life gone a different direction, I would have bought my own property years ago when I was still young and had energy, and I could see myself like trying to build my own cabin or something on my property. And I'm not saying that can't still happen, but I'm like, I don't know how many years I have left, to be honest. I'm not that old, but like, how do any of us know how much time we have left on the earth? And I try not to look too far into the future for plans like that. I just like take each day as they come, because I have no idea what's coming next for me. But when I think about like what I would like to do, if I could do whatever interested me, that's one of the things that I would love, is to buy like 10 acres or some as large as possible that I could afford, and then just build something simple and rugged, beautiful, natural looking thing on there. That'd be awesome. I'm seeing another rock structure down there. I think it's rock. Yeah. It's actually kind of interesting too. It's like a white, almost like limestone looking rock. Very different from everything up here. Kind of makes me want to go explore it. I don't think I'm going to explore all of this today. There's just too much to do. Like, I don't know if you can see in the camera, probably not, but this is a pretty steep drop off here. Almost too steep to even try to hike down. I could do it, but it would be a little bit sketchy for people without experience with such things. I do this kind of stuff all the time, but I could get down there. It would still be like kind of challenging, but it's pretty steep, and there's just like boulders littered all over the place, like giant boulders. It'd be fun to go down on. I could actually go down to this one right here that you may or may not be able to see at the base of this tree, because if I put my camera down there and I sat on that boulder, I could have that cool dead tree in the background, and etc., etc. But we'll see. I need to just do this reading, and then I'll decide what comes next. I'm always looking for new angles though, like not even if I don't do them today, I keep them sort of in the back of my head as like, oh yeah, I went to that place, I did a couple readings, but I saw so much more potential, and then that just leaves the taste in my mind, or just the memory that I need to go back there and do more exploration, which I may or may not remember, I'd probably forget. But all right. Oh, I wonder if I should. This is one of those scenarios. There's just enough wind that it could get to the point where it affects my mic. I don't think so, and I still haven't actually figured out when that happens, if it's just too much wind or if it's like I turn a certain angle and it breaks the signal. But it's happened enough that it's annoying to me when it happens, and then like I go home and realize, oh, you couldn't even hear what I was saying half the time. That's garbage. So I'm gonna get my other microphone just as a backup recording. I sort of wish I could always use this second big microphone, because it's better quality, sounds really nice, but it's such a pain that I don't use it very much. It's actually not that big of a deal. It's just I can't attach it to my shirt, or I have no way to like just have it there. I have to hold it basically, and that's what I don't like about it. And it's big. Bigger is better, probably essentially the bigger microphone you have, the better it is. Kind of like telescopes, but I don't know. I'd rather have it be as small as possible, which is what I love about this little wireless one that I have. It's very similar to the DJI and Rode Wireless Go mics. But there's actually multiple people in, well, probably at least two groups or two people in completely different directions, like almost opposite directions from where I'm at, shooting their guns. So probably going to have some background noise like that. Oh, and the other issue, just noticing with the gimbal, is it's not very sturdy. Like, it's not going to fall over really, but it's vibrating. I can see. That's going to be kind of distracting. Ugh. I don't want to get my tripod out, but I probably should. All right, I've convinced myself. It doesn't, I mean, I'd spend a lot of time talking about the angles and trying to like make it look good, and it doesn't matter that much, except that I think that's the only thing I have going for this project that non-religious people might appreciate, and so I want to give those people as much as I can for them to enjoy, because I know they probably don't really care or like the Bible reading part of it that much, but at least they can enjoy the scenery. And then, obviously that's not everybody. There's some people that actually like the Bible reading, but not I don't think there's a lot of people that enjoy any part of what I do, because I don't get a lot of views or comments or anything. But still, I try to make it as good as I can, just because. I don't know, it's a personal challenge, I guess, just to do my best. And it's sort of too, also too as well, let's be a little bit repetitious. This is something I'm doing for the glory of God, and so I want to do the best that I can and make it look as good as I can, sound as good as I can. All right, so let's see, where's the clamp? Yeah, I'm going to have to reread all these verses like 10 times to avoid all the gunfire sounds. Oh, that would be fun. I don't think there's anybody chatting, but I'm away from my chat phone, so if you said something, I will see it in a minute, but I don't suspect there's anybody here. At least nobody chatting. I don't even know if this will make it or if it'll make it much more sturdy. I know it's more sturdy than it used to be. I had talked about this on my stream a while ago, that I've discovered that my tripod had a little Allen wrench or Allen key adjustment I had never noticed before, and it was super loose. It was all jostling around freely, so I've tightened that recently, so it should be considerably sturdier in that sense. But the wind kind of has a mind of its own, and almost doesn't matter how much I stabilize it, it's still gonna vibrate to some degree. Alright, that should be good for now, though. Hopefully it's a little bit sturdier, steadier, whatever. Trying to get a little bit of color in the sky. It's not even close to sunset. I don't know why there's so much color over there. It's cool. Let's see, where was this sitting? There's still a little bit I can still vibrate back and forth. I wonder if the if that, let me undo this and see if that Allen key thing came loose again. I don't know. This tripod has just a little bit of wiggle room, which is annoying. I don't like it. Alright, I think that'll work. I should bring I have a metal phone clamp that I think would probably be a little bit stiffer and less prone to vibrating. I should switch this one out for that one. Let's see, I will barely be in the frame if I sit on that original spot, but I don't really care, do I? Certainly nobody else does. It's good enough. Sensitivity. Testing. Okay, I'll go with that. Oops. Shoot. So I just have to hold this big old chunky microphone if I'm gonna use it. I guess it's kind of a stupid style or trend that is going around. It might be on its way out by now, but just the whole YouTuber thing, like holding this giant microphone in front of your face as if that like makes you somehow more legit or cool or something. I don't know. I don't really understand the intended messaging with that, but I think it's weird. But in my case, I don't really have a choice. So I'll look even cooler than all of them. Instead of holding my little thing like this, I'll hold this giant, massive stick of excellence. All right, let's see. It's so weird. Like, the whole idea or the trend is, instead of using the actual inbuilt clips and magnets that they have, this is what you do. It's like, what? I don't get it. It looks goofy to me, but the other thing that this annoys me greatly, it shouldn't, and most people will not care, but if you know, you know. If you've watched hiking or biking content creators, which I watch quite a bit of those, people that are outdoors doing explorations of some sort, hiking or going on bike rides or drone footage or whatever, they always put their camera down somewhere and then they walk in front of it, like going down the path, and then like as soon as like that clip is done, they're like going back and like picking up their camera, like backtracking massively. I don't know, it just makes me cringe. Like, I know it's cool to get those shots of them walking down the trail, but it seems so fake to me because that's not actually their experience of walking and continuing on their journey. They're just doing those like 10 steps down the trail to get that shot, and then they walk back, grab their camera, and then they keep going. Cringe. Like, if I do hiking videos myself, but I've never once done that. Like sat my camera down on the trail or up on a rock somewhere and then walked by it as if I'm like hiking or something, and then like have to go back and pick it up again. That's so, I don't know. I can't stand it. And it's also cringe to me because I know how much effort that would take to do that. Like to set up your tripod every time and get that angle and then like walk back and forth. Because sometimes they walk quite a distance because they're walking, showing themselves walking down the trail far away. And then they have to go all the way back to pick up their camera again. It's like, oh man, that's awful. I refuse to do it. That's kind of why I like live streaming, because it's all just raw, no special edits or tricks, no visual, like, I don't know, whatever. There's just no editing at all. I don't have any script. I just say whatever, garbage, useless junk that I don't know what I'm talking about. And just let it be. Who cares if I look like a freak or don't say the right things, or that like there's way too many awkward pauses, or the stream should be like a highlight reel of 30 seconds instead of 4 hours. I actually don't care at all. I don't care. I like it. I like that freedom. I know it's kind of boring for people to watch, and that's part of the reason I don't have like that big of a channel or many viewers, because it's like, who wants to sit and like spend your life wasting your time watching some other person doing random stuff, like the live streaming in essence doesn't even make any sense. Like, why would take time out of their life, their schedule, their friendships, their family, their job, their recreation time, to sit and watch somebody else do random stuff, like play a video game or walk around the streets of Tokyo, or I don't know. It's just weird. I don't really, even though I'm a live streamer, I've been doing it for 6 years, I don't really buy into the culture. Like, I don't really watch streamers that much because it just feels weird to like watch random people. The only streamers I like to watch are people that I can interact with and they talk to me and I'm like something that resembles a friend, I don't care about watching famous people that have like thousands of viewers and like trying to type like, notice me, man, notice me. It's like, oh, that's so cringe. I can't do it. Like, I can't even watch those streams because it's seeing people like putting so much stock and value in their ability to get noticed by someone they deem as more important than themselves, and they're not more important. Most streamers are just normal people, and a lot of them are really messed up and not even good examples. But people like just want to get noticed because they're famous, they gotta, if they even say my name or read my comment, I don't get it. I don't get it. All right, let's do the reading. Did I start recording? Maybe I never pushed. No, I didn't. Okay, good thing I checked. I was holding this huge thing for no reason. That should be the trend. Like, buy or make. Now, here's the thing that people should start doing. Make extremely fake looking microphones out of paper mache and just like color them in horribly with like Sharpie markers. And you can All right, just to rehash, since I took like 6 hours. There's a giant, fatty chipmunk. That's the fattest chipmunk I've ever seen. That's like the kind you see at national parks where everybody feeds them. But This is a place that you can drive up to and maybe have frequent visitors, but I've never really seen anybody else up here, and I don't think people come up here that much. Occasionally, but I actually highly doubt that anyone else will come up here while I'm here. It's just not that popular. But like I said, those people that came up here and built that little wall, maybe they come up here quite often and they feed that chipmunk every time they come, and it's like used to the human presence, and that's why it's so fat. That's my speculation. All right, so we're going to read 1 Kings 5 and 6, 2 Chronicles 2 and 3, and 2 Corinthians 4. This is going to take forever because I'm going to have to reread every verse with all those gunshots going on. Oh well. Oh, well, I remember. Let's do this. First Kings chapter 5. Now when Hiram, king of Tyre, heard that Solomon had been anointed king in his father's place, he sent envoys to Solomon, for Hiram had always been a friend of David. And Solomon relayed this message to Hiram. As you are well aware, due to the wars waged on all sides against my father David, he could not build a house for the name of the Lord. He could not build a house for the name of the Lord his God until the Lord had put his enemies under his feet. But now the Lord my God has given me rest on every side, and there is no adversary or crisis. So behold, I plan to build a house for the name of the Lord my God, according to what the Lord said to my father David. I will put your son on your throne in your place, and he will build the house for my name. Now therefore, order that cedars of Lebanon be cut down for me. My servants will be with your servants, and I will pay your servants whatever wages you set, for you know that there are none among us as skilled in logging as the Sidonians. When Hiram received Solomon's message, he rejoiced greatly and said, Blessed be the Lord this day. He has given David a wise son over this great people. Then Hiram sent a reply to Solomon, saying, I have received your message. I will do all you desire regarding the cedar and cypress timber. My servants will haul the logs from Lebanon to the sea, and I will float them as rafts by sea to the place you specify. There I will separate the logs, and you can take them away. And in exchange, you can meet my needs by providing my household with food. So Hiram provided Solomon with all the cedar and cypress timber he wanted. And year after year, Solomon would provide Hiram with 20,000 cores of wheat as food for his household, as well as 20,000 baths of pure olive oil. And the Lord gave Solomon wisdom, as he had promised him. There was peace between Hiram and Solomon, and the two of them made a treaty. Then King Solomon... Oh, man. I knew I was getting snot-nosed. I didn't know it was that bad. Sorry about that. That'll make a nice clip. Somebody is here to clip that. Leo. All right. Oh. Blah. All right, let's start again on this section. Then King Solomon conscripted a labor force of 30,000 men from all Israel. He sent them to Lebanon in monthly shifts of 10,000 men, so that they would spend 1 month in Lebanon and 2 months at home. And Adoniram was in charge of the forced labor. Solomon had 70,000 porters and 80,000 stone cutters in the mountains, not including his 3,300 foremen who supervised the workers. And the king commanded them to quarry large, costly stones to lay the foundation of the temple with dressed stones. So Solomon's and Hiram's builders, along with the Gebalites, quarried the stone, and prepared the timber and stone for the construction of the temple. Okay, I definitely need to get a drink. That's crazy. 80,000 stone cutters? That's insane. That's a massive amount of workers. Okay. But that's probably what it would take. I mean, that's, you go to either go to Jerusalem, which I've never been. I don't know if I'd like to or not, to be honest. Part of me would like to go and see all the ancient stuff and go on tours and stuff, but I don't know. I don't need to certify my faith or get some kind of experience or feeling. I think it would be cool, but anyway. Yeah, I've seen like pictures and videos of people who have traveled there, and you can see how giant the platform is where the temple supposedly was. And I don't know, there's like debate, like some archaeologists and scholars think that the temple was in a different spot or whatever, but anyway, there's been 2 temples so far. There was Solomon's temple that was destroyed in when was that? I don't know, 586 or something, whatever. Whenever the Assyrians or Babylonians, I don't know, I'm not very good at history. Those people came in and destroyed it, and then they rebuilt it when Ezra, Nehemiah, that era of history, when they were allowed to come back and rebuild Jerusalem and the temple. So there's been 2, and I don't know if they were built in the same spot or not. And then, probably there's going to be another one someday. I'm not very good at biblical prophecy, but I believe there's most likely going to be another temple built, and probably that's where the false Messiah will come in and do his stuff. But some people think that that's already happened and yada yada yada. I don't know. That's why I say I'm not very good with prophecy stuff, because it's I've heard both angles and they're both kind of convincing to me. But the thing I don't want to get into it that much, but I recently heard one of the pastors that I went to a church talked about, he thought that that stuff had already happened, and it was kind of around the time of Jesus or whatever, which there's a lot of scriptures that make that seem possible, like his first coming when he was his whatever, I can't think of, incarnation or whatever, his ministry, his 33 years of life on earth. There's a lot of scriptures that make it sound like some of those were fulfilled during that time. And then the abomination of desolation was like one of the emperors that came after that and did certain things. And there's a lot of stuff that makes that sound right. But then if that's the case, why would Jesus talk about it as if it's a future event? So that's why it doesn't really make sense to me that would be the case. But it did happen. That emperor thing that they talk about did happen after he was on earth, so it is possible. But yeah, I don't know. Sometimes the prophecies in the Bible actually have multiple fulfillments, which is really weird. Like it's talking about a specific event, but that event happens more than once in history. It's really strange that would be the case, but I'm pretty sure that's true of some of the prophecies. It's almost like God set up in his sovereign will that there would be these cycles of history or something. I don't know, it's strange. I can't think of an exact example, but I feel like there's some prophecies where it's basically talking about something that's about to happen or something that's currently happening, but it's also looking forward to like when the Messiah comes. Like, David is talking about things in his time, and he's talking about real people that he interacted with or whatever, but he doesn't realize it, but he's also talking about Jesus when he came, many hundreds of years later. So anyway, it's interesting. But we will get into some of that. Like, I'm not gonna like try to unpack the prophecies per se. I might have a few little observations when we get there, Lord willing that I survive long enough to finish the whole Bible. We'll get into all the prophets near the end. It'll be interesting. I've actually been quite looking forward to that part of the reading because I didn't get that far last year. I stopped like something like 55 or 60% of the way through. I don't know exactly, but and it feels like that could happen again this year because I'm going into winter and I'm considering taking a large break. Originally, I was going to stop at week 26 halfway through, and then I just couldn't really help myself. I just kept reading, but I'll probably end up taking kind of a break or just not reading as often when the weather shifts. But I just hope I don't fail to finish because I want to have the whole series of readings for each chapter of the whole Bible and stuff. So we'll see. I don't want to get so hung up on it that it's some kind of legalistic thing that I have to finish. It feels, I know this sounds pretentious or something, but it feels like God called me to do this. So I feel like it's somewhat important, even if for nothing else, for my spiritual journey and whether or not it has any impact on anybody else. But I felt confirmations that I'm not, that I'm doing this in obedience. Like God not necessarily told me to do it expressly, but I have a sense that there's purpose in it. I don't know what that purpose is yet necessarily, but so I hope I get to finish. But if I don't, then I feel like that's God's will. Like, okay, Flo did 72% of the Bible, and then we never saw him again. It's like, oh, well, whatever. That's fine if that's the way it turns out, but that's not my hope. I hope to finish it. It's always, it also helps your mental health state to just finish something that you start, not just have a ton of unfinished things. And I tend to have that pattern in my life where I start some project and I never finish it. And it sometimes it's okay because I realize I start feeling like it's a waste of time. I don't know if I can think of any examples offhand, but I spend a ton of time working on some project, and then I just start feeling like, why am I even doing this? And then I just get too much in my own head and just decide to stop or whatever. But other times it has nothing to do with that. It's more just my attention span is so flimsy these days or years that it's hard for me to finish stuff. And that really weighs, I think, on people's minds. I know it does mine. And I have a good friend that has the same kind of problem, just jumping from project to project or hobby to hobby. And I know it's harmful or hurtful for his psyche, and it's totally is for mine as well, to have these things that I've started and haven't finished. And so I'm hoping this is one of those things that I can actually finally finish. And even when I finish, I don't even want to stop, though. That's the thing. I kind of want to stop live streaming and just doing content creation because it feels kind of toxic to the soul. The only reason I would want to keep going essentially indefinitely or longer is if I felt like I had some kind of impact on others, or I was gaining enough benefit socially from it that it was necessary for my own mental health. But honestly, most of the time I feel like it makes me worse, and I think it makes most people worse in a sense. I can't speak for everybody, but that feeling of or sense that you have friendships and connections, there's value in that, but I think a lot of that is false if you actually if you're honest about it and you dissect the depth and significance of each connection that you have. I think some real, true, valuable friendships are had in the streaming world, but there's also a lot of just mental brokenness where you're so desperate for connection and friendship that you, like, maybe you don't have a lot of friends or any friends in your neighborhood or your real life, and so like your only connect is to reach out online. And that's not criticizing that, but it's not nearly as healthy for your mind to do that as it is to have, a real actual physical friend in your real world space that you can hang out with and go outside or go to a bar. I don't know, I'm not saying going to bars is great, but like just doing something. I just don't think it's really healthy for us to all just be sitting in front of computers and only connecting with people in digital space. And so for my purposes, sometimes I wish I could just stop doing this altogether. And I might end up doing that after I'm done with this project, because I'm just like, this is kind of fading out. I'm like investing a lot of time in it and not getting a lot of return on investment in some respects. I have a few really good friends that I treasure that I've made through this time, but it's like, I don't know. Anyway, we'll see. But then the other part of me, like, once I finish, I want to start reading again because it's like so powerful and transformative to my life that I don't want to stop. And my best friend told me recently, because I was telling him about this kind of like, the need to take a break or step away from the readings for a while. And that was when I hit the 26-week completion mark. And I was talking to him, just saying, like, I feel like I'm not doing the things that I need to do as far as pursuing the career path, or just breaking out of this rut that I'm in. And he was just like, well, yeah, you don't have to stop reading. You could just read it some other way. And then my response to that was like, yeah, you're right. I could just go back to using audio Bibles, which is kind of my way to interact with the Word. But there is, since having that realization or thinking that, which I've always known that, of course, there's something about this project that really spurs me on to approach the Word in a more serious manner, and it's really been impactful to my life. Like maybe no other encounter with the Word that I can recall in my many, many different transformations or seasons of life that I've had with the Bible. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because I'm doing it out in nature, or maybe it's because, like I was saying, maybe God wants to do this for some reason, and because of my response to say, yes, I'll do it, or just to do it, maybe he's blessing me more through this experience than just the ordinary day-to-day reading would be. I don't know, but it's been a huge deal for me, and it kind of makes me like never want to stop doing it. But at the same time, it takes a lot of investment of time to do it, and it takes me away from other things that I need to do. So I need to balance it out somehow, which is really hard to do because I just want to keep going out every day, 8 hours a day, just read, hike, read. That's all I want to do. But yeah, anyway, can't. I have to do other stuff too. All right, let's keep reading. Maybe we'll have a little break in the gun noise. Probably not. First Kings chapter 6. In the 480th year after the Israelites had come out of the land of Egypt, in the month of Ziv, the second month of the 4th year of Solomon's reign over Israel, he began to build the house of the Lord. The house that King Solomon built for the Lord was 60 cubits long, 20 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high. The portico at the front of the main hall of the temple was 20 cubits long, extending across the width of the temple and projecting out 10 cubits in front of the temple. He also had narrow windows framed high in the temple. Against the walls of the temple and the inner sanctuary, Solomon built a chambered structure around the temple, in which he constructed the side rooms. The bottom floor was 5 cubits wide, the middle floor 6 cubits, and the third floor 7 cubits. He also placed offset ledges around the outside of the temple so that... Whew, that was loud. Let's start that verse over. I'm going to have to take some serious breaks with all that gunfire. It's crazy. I wonder, it would be interesting if somebody that knew guns really well could hear that and say, oh, that's this rifle, because they know how the sound of it or something. It sounds so loud to me that it's got to be like a 50 cal or something, but it might just be some other rifle, but there's no way. I mean, I find it highly unlikely that that's just a handgun. It's so so loud. Crazy. The bottom floor was 5 cubits wide, the middle floor 6 cubits, and the third floor 7 cubits. He also placed offset ledges around the outside of the temple so that nothing would be inserted into its walls. The temple was constructed using finished stones cut at the quarry, so that no hammer or chisel or any other iron tool was heard in the temple while it was being built. The entrance to the bottom floor was on the south side of the temple. A stairway led up to the middle level, and from there to the third floor. So Solomon built the temple and finished it, roofing it with beams and planks of cedar. He built chambers all along the temple, each 5 cubits high, and attached to the temple with beams of cedar. Then the word of the Lord came to Solomon, saying, As for this temple you are building, if you walk in my statutes, carry out my ordinances, and keep all my commandments by walking in them, I will fulfill through you the promise I made to your father David. And I will dwell among the Israelites and will not abandon my people Israel. So Solomon built the temple and finished it. He lined the interior walls with cedar paneling from the floor of the temple to the ceiling, and he covered the floor with cypress boards. He partitioned off the 20 cubits at the rear of the temple with cedar boards from floor to ceiling to form within the temple an inner sanctuary, the most holy place. And the main hall in front of the room was 40 cubits long. The cedar paneling inside the temple was carved with gourds and open flowers. Everything was cedar, not a stone could be seen. Solomon also prepared the inner sanctuary within the temple to set the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord there. The inner sanctuary was 20 cubits long, 20 cubits wide, and 20 cubits high. He overlaid the inside with pure gold, and he also overlaid the altar of cedar. So Solomon overlaid the inside of the temple with pure gold, and he extended gold chains across the front of the inner sanctuary, which was overlaid with gold. So he overlaid with gold the whole interior of the temple, until everything was completely finished. He also overlaid with gold the entire altar that belonged to the inner sanctuary. In the inner sanctuary he made 2 cherubim, each 10 cubits high, out of olive wood. One wing of the first cherub was 5 cubits long, and the other wing was 5 cubits long as well, so the full wingspan was 10 cubits. The second cherub also measured 10 cubits. Both cherubim had the same size and shape, and the height of each cherub was 10 cubits. And he placed the cherubim inside the innermost room of the temple. Since their wings were spread out, the wing of the first cherub touched one wall, while the wing of the second cherub touched the other wall, and in the middle of the room their wing tips touched. He also overlaid the cherubim with gold. Then he carved the walls all around in both the inner and outer sanctuaries, with carved engravings of cherubim, palm trees, and open flowers. And he overlaid the temple floor with gold in both the inner and outer sanctuaries. For the entrance to the inner sanctuary, Solomon constructed doors of olive wood with 5-sided door posts. The double doors were made of olive wood Gun break. Gun break, nose wipe break, burp break, and drink break. I actually watch a lot of gun videos. I don't know why, because I'm not really that into guns, but I like watching the funny guys that shoot guns, like Kentucky Ballistics. And lately I've been watching Yee Life. I can't even say it. That guy's hilarious. I don't know. They're all the same. They just shoot stuff, but I don't know. It's just mindless entertainment, I guess. Oh. But I can't say I know a whole lot about guns, even though I watch those quite a bit. I wouldn't be able to identify different types of guns by their sound, that's for sure. The double doors were made of olive wood, and he carved into them cherubim, palm trees, and open flowers, and overlaid the cherubim and palm trees with hammered gold. In the same way, he made 4-sided doorposts of olive wood for the sanctuary entrance. The 2 doors were made of cypress wood, and each had 2 folding panels. He carved into them cherubim, palm trees, and open flowers, and he overlaid them with gold, hammered evenly over the carvings. Solomon built the inner courtyard with 3 rows of dressed stone and 1 row of trimmed cedar beams. The foundation of the house of the Lord was laid in the 4th year of Solomon's reign, in the month of Ziv. In his 11th year and 8th month, the month of Bul, the temple was finished in every detail and according to every specification. So he built the temple in 7 years. That's pretty impressive, to be honest. 7 years in those ancient times. Even in these modern times, it takes us many years to build intricate cathedrals and stuff. Just repairing some of the older ones takes many years of work. But of course, when you think about the fact that he had 80,000 stone cutters and however many other artisans and laborers, that probably is how they got it done in that amount of time. It's like a huge percentage of the people of the country. Like, it's probably like the equivalent of almost an entire clan, like one of the 12 tribes, one of the smaller ones anyway. It's like, yeah, 10% of everybody in the entire country is working on the temple. It's probably basically about right. Second Chronicles chapter 2. Now Solomon purposed to build a house for the name of the Lord and a royal palace for himself. So he conscripted 70,000 porters, 80,000 stone cutters in the mountains, and 3,600 supervisors. Then Solomon sent word to Hiram, king of Tyre, "Do for me as you did for my father David when you sent him cedars to build himself a house to live in." Gun break. I need to figure out how many shots fit in whatever you call it. I can't even think of the terminology for whatever that thing is. That time it was only 2, but before there's more than 2. It's 3 or 4 at least. Let's try it again. Then Solomon sent word to Hiram, king of Tyre, "Do for me as you did for my father David when you sent him cedars to build himself a house to live in. Behold, I am about to build a house for the name of the Lord my God, to dedicate to him, for burning fragrant incense before him, for displaying the showbread continuously, and for making burnt offerings every morning and evening, as well It's going to be hard to get through a single verse. That's 2, 3. Sure, I heard 4 once. I'll try this verse again. We're going to be reading verse 4 for a long time. Behold, I am about to build a house for the name of the Lord my God, to dedicate to him, for burning fragrant incense before him, for displaying the showbread continuously, and for making burnt offerings every morning and evening, as well as on the Sabbaths, new moons, and appointed feasts of the Lord our God. This is ordained for Israel forever. The house that I am building will be great, for our God is greater than all gods. But who is able to build a house for him, since the heavens, even the highest heavens, cannot contain him? Who then am I, that I should build a house for him, except as a place to burn sacrifices before him? Send me, therefore, a craftsman skilled in engraving, to work with gold and silver, with bronze and iron, and with purple, crimson, and blue yarn. He will work with my craftsmen in Judah and Jerusalem, whom my father David provided. Send me also cedar, cypress, and algum logs from Lebanon, for I know that your servants have skill to cut timber there, and indeed my servants will work with yours, to prepare for me timber in abundance, because the temple I am building will be great and wonderful. I will pay your servants, the woodcutters, 20,000 cors of ground wheat, 20,000 cors of barley, 20,000 baths of wine, and 20,000 baths of olive oil. Then Hiram king of Tyre wrote a letter in reply to Solomon. Because the Lord loves his people, he has set you over them as king. And Hiram added, Blessed be the Lord, the God of Israel, who made the heavens and the earth. He has given King David a wise son with insight and understanding, who will build a temple for the Lord and a royal palace for himself. So now I am sending you Huram-Abi, a skillful man endowed with creativity. He is the son of a woman from the daughters of Dan, and his father is a man of Tyre. He is skilled in work with gold and silver, bronze and iron, stone and wood, purple, blue, and crimson yarn, and fine linen. He is experienced in every kind of engraving and can execute any design that is given him. He will work with your craftsmen and with those of my lord, your father David. Now let my lord send to his servants the wheat, barley, olive oil, and wine he promised. We will cut logs from Lebanon, as many as you need, and we will float them to you as rafts by sea down to Joppa. Then you can take them up to Jerusalem. Solomon numbered all the foreign men in the land of Israel, following the census his father David had conducted, and there were found to be 153,600 in all. Solomon made 70,000 of them porters, 80,000 stonecutters in the mountains, and 3,600 supervisors. That's cool. I don't know why that's cool, but I understand like they put some of the people that they didn't displace out of Israel they put them into forced labor, but they were actually generally treated pretty fairly and well as far as I know. But the thing that's cool to me isn't necessarily the forced labor. That's fine. It's just a reality. The cool thing to me is that they got to work on the temple. Like, I don't know, somebody could argue quite easily that, like, oh, don't profane the temple by allowing foreigners to construct it or something like that. Like, only use local labor Israelites. I could understand that. That wouldn't be surprising at all. But for some reason, Solomon chose almost entirely foreigners to build the temple, and I don't know. I just think it's cool. I think it's cool that they got the honor and privilege to work on the most important centerpiece of beauty and architecture and all that for Israel. Obviously, it was probably very back-breaking work, and I don't know how well they were treated. I have no idea, but it's just, I don't know, I think it's cool that they were blessed in that way, and I'm sure God looked with favor upon that to some extent. I don't really know, but it's just I like it. It probably has symbolism too for the future of what God had planned for, all nations to be blessed through Abraham and through Jesus, and eventually the gospel being spread throughout all nations. I'm sure there's some symbolic connections there. All right, let's keep going. Let's just start over. It was kind of in a weird position here. This might be my last reading. I don't know. Time is kind of flying. I don't want to be out super late. Originally, I was thinking I could go from sun up to sundown, but I don't know. I'm kind of tired because I stayed up all night, and it would be nice to not be out super long. I don't know. We'll see. Second Chronicles chapter 3. Then Solomon began to build the house of the Lord in Jerusalem on Mount Moriah, where the Lord had appeared to his father David. This was the place that David had prepared on the threshing floor of Ornan the Jebusite. Solomon began construction on the 2nd day of the 2nd month in the 4th year of his reign. The foundation that Solomon laid for the house of God was 60 cubits long and 20 cubits wide, according to the old standard. The portico at the front, extending across the width of the temple, was 20 cubits long and 20 cubits high. He overlaid the inside with pure gold. He paneled the main room with cypress, which he overlaid with fine gold and decorated with palm trees and chains. He adorned the temple with precious stones for beauty, and its gold was from Parvaim. He overlaid its beams, thresholds, walls, and doors with gold, and he carved cherubim on the walls. Then he made the most holy place. Its length corresponded to the width of the temple, 20 cubits long and 20 cubits wide, and he overlaid the inside with 600 talents of fine gold. The weight of the nails was 50 shekels of gold. He also overlaid the upper area with gold. In the most holy place he made 2 cherubim of sculpted work, and he overlaid them with gold. The total wingspan of the cherubim was 20 cubits. One wing of the first cherub was 5 cubits long and touched the wall of the temple, and its other wing was 5 cubits long and touched the wing of the other cherub. The wing of the second cherub also measured 5 cubits and touched the wall of the temple, while its other wing measured 5 cubits and touched the wing of the first cherub. So the total wingspan of these cherubim was 20 cubits. They stood on their feet, facing the main room. He made the veil of blue, purple, and crimson yarn and fine linen, with cherubim woven into it. In front of the temple he made 2 pillars, which together were 35 cubits high, each with a capital on top measuring 5 cubits. He made interwoven chains and put them on top of the pillars. He made 100 pomegranates and fastened them in. It was a long no-gun period. Almost made it through that chapter. Start over in verse 16, I guess. He made interwoven chains and put them on top of the pillars. He made 100 pomegranates and fastened them into the chainwork. Then he set up the pillars in front of the temple, one on the south, one on the north. The pillar on the south he named Jachin, and the pillar on the north he named Boaz. And then Flo mispronounced all of the names. I wonder like what the significance of that is. I haven't studied that, the temple architecture or whatever that much. Like why the pillars had names. I wonder if, they sound like people names, like person names. Or if they had, if he assigned any kind of personality traits to them. All right, one more chapter. Second Corinthians chapter 4. Therefore, since God in his mercy has given us this ministry, we do not lose heart. Instead, we have renounced secret and shameful ways. We do not practice deceit, nor do we distort the word of God. On the contrary, by open proclamation of the truth, we commend ourselves to every man's conscience in the sight of God. And even if our gospel is veiled, it is veiled to those who are perishing. The God of this age has blinded the minds of unbelievers so they cannot see the light of the gospel of the glory of Christ, who is the image of God. For we do not proclaim ourselves, but Jesus Christ as Lord, and ourselves as your servants for Jesus' sake. For God, who said, "Let light shine out of darkness," made his light shine in our hearts to give us the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Jesus Christ. Now we have this treasure in jars of clay to show that this surpassingly great power is from God and not from us. We are hard pressed on all sides, but not crushed, perplexed, but not in despair, persecuted, but not forsaken, struck down, but not destroyed. We always carry around in our body the death of Jesus, so that the life of Jesus may also be revealed in our body. For we who are alive are always consigned to death for Jesus' sake, so that the life of Jesus may also be revealed in our mortal body. So then, death is at work in us, but life is at work in you. And in keeping with what is written, I believed, therefore I have spoken. We who have the same spirit of faith also believe and therefore speak, knowing that the one almost made it. Knowing that the one who raised the Lord Jesus will also raise us with Jesus and present us with you in his presence. All this is for your benefit, so that the grace that is extending to more and more people may overflow in thanksgiving to the glory of God. Therefore we do not lose heart. Though our outer self is wasting away, yet our inner self is being renewed day by day. For our light and momentary affliction is producing for us an eternal weight of glory that is far beyond comparison. So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but on what is unseen. For what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. All right, made it. Oh, my legs. Just kind of in too tight of a leg bend position there. Wow, those mountains never really dropped their mist. Still looks pretty cool over there. And it's still interesting how much color there is in the horizon. I don't really know why, because it's not even close to sunset. Must be some atmospheric effect other than the standard sunset stuff going on. As far as I know, there's no wildfires anymore. This season really was not that bad. Like, we had some pretty big ones, just like every year, but they I don't know, they got under control in a far shorter period of time than previous years, and they didn't spread nearly as gigantic. And I don't know if there was, I'm sure there was probably some structures lost, but I don't even know because I don't really watch the news, but I didn't really hear about much gigantic damage, and hopefully there was no loss of life or anything. But anyway, pretty sure that wouldn't be any kind of smoke effect, just some kind of weird coloring. Looks cool though. Anyway, I think I'm going to end this one, and I don't know if I'm going to do any more or not. Part of me just wants to keep on going all the way to the end of the day, but I'm also really tired, and I don't know. I don't get tired of reading the Bible, but I get tired of kind of just sitting down in one place and just like kind of zone out a little bit. So this will probably, or possibly anyway, be my last reading for the day. So kind of a little bit disappointed that I didn't do like 10 readings like I was hoping, but I don't know. I think I did 5 or 6 or something like that. Ouch. Ugh. I need to straighten my leg a little bit before I get up, because that was didn't have it in a good position. I don't have the best knees. My knees and my back and my shoulders, my neck. It's all kind of going into old man mode. Ugh. This rock down here could actually break off and crack. I mean, it's got cracks in it, so that's part of the reason I didn't sit down there. It looked actually more comfortable than where I sat. But, oh well. Ugh. Oh. May as well end this bigger mic recording. I just like to use it when I'm reading the Bible. Part of it's also that it's just kind of cold. It's not that bad. It's relatively nice today. All things considered, it could be like freezing. But I'm just kind of chilled. I kind of just want to go be warm again. I don't know. I'll probably kind of regret when I get home. I'll be like, I should have just stayed out all day. But I don't know. I don't know what to do. Oh, what should I do? What should I do? I mean, one thing that I sort of consider is just to stay here and do more readings on this area. I think part of it too, several factors like the guns are kind of a little bit of an annoyance. That's probably like kind of wearing on me a little bit. But there's definitely more angles here to be explored and captured. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to end this stream. If you see me again later, then that means I did another one. But generally, I'm kind of thinking to not. So this will probably be the last one. Ugh. I made this tripod with its really wide stance mode, so it's kind of hard to get around it. Okay. One last gunfire for you. Yippee. All right, we'll catch you later. Thanks for joining me.